take it to trial. Take it to trial. Welcome in, grab a seat, hit the like and subscribe. Cause Sweet Peas on the mic with that spicy little vibe. Got the courtroom streaming in the chat, going wild. We're debating heavy topics, but still laughing like a child. From objections to confessions to the judge's side eye. If it's justice and it's messy, we gon' talk about why. Every day's a new case, every moment's a ride. And when Sweet Peas in the building, we be learning with pride. My eyes on deck, keep the room running smooth. Film freak therapist, you know, keeping everyone in the groove. Right to with the facts, pretty brown girl with the sass. Moreldia and Fowler keep the peace in the chat. But Jason walks in and the ladies collapse. Chocolate, take it to trial, where the truth gets loud and the laughs run wild. Sweet Peas got the spice, she's the queen of the aisle. Chat fam rolling deep, we've been here a while. Lights on, mics up, we gon' do this right. Take it to trial, every day, every night. Take it to trial. Morning shows are sharp, afternoon is on fire. And we catch every moment that the court might inspire. From witnesses whispering, the lawyers trying to hard. You know Sweet Pea breaks it down like a legal tarot card. Chats cracking jokes, dropping theories on the fly. We're serious when it counts, but we still testify. Minds hold it down when the trolls try to play. If you write a line, court adjourned for the day. But when Jason logs in with that deep hello sound, the ladies in the chat, man, they all fall down. Take it, 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 take it to trial, where the truth gets loud and the laughs run wild. Sweet Peas got the spice, she's the queen of the aisle. Chat fam rolling deep, we've been here a while. Lights on, mics up, we gon' do this right. Take it to trial, every day, every night. Take it to trial. When the sun goes down and the cases get deep, after dark gets spicy, no secrets to keep. Taboo topics, big laugh, slap, happy crew. Sweet Pea says behave, but we never really do. It's opinions, confessions, stories untold, but we handle it with heart like the chat made a goal. Hey! Take it to trial, from day to night and every wild mile. Sweet Peas kneeling strong with her trademark style, and the fam in the chat always makes it worthwhile. Turn it up, show some love, hit the like on sight. Take it to trial, yeah, we live tonight. Take it to trial, yeah, we live tonight. Yeah. Yeah, lights on, shadow wake. What's the move tonight? Sweet pea in the room, yeah, you know the vibe, right? Quick, sharp mind cutting through the noise. Got the whole room laughing when she drops her voice. Eyes on the screen, yeah, she reads the whole room. From drugs to facts, she's ahead of the boom. Not just a talk, yeah, she bringing receipts. When Sweet Pea speaks, everybody hits repeat. She don't just show up, she sets the tone. One line from her in the chat's blown. Smart, funny feelings, yeah, that's the code. Main character energy fully in mode. Whoa. Sweet Pea, say it louder when she enters the scene. Got the jokes, got the facts, got the mean. When she talks, everybody leans in. Sweet Pea, yeah, you know she always wins. One line of queen, yeah, she never miss. Turn a quiet room into a viral clip. Brains and humor in a perfect blend. When Sweet Pea starts talking, that's the trend. Say it again, who runs the chat? Sweet Pea, yeah, that's that. Sweet Pea, yeah, you know she always wins. Yeah, lights on, shadow wake. What's the move? Y'all still can't hear me? I'm trying to check these settings as I'm going along because I can see that it's recognizing my microphone. Can you hear me, SD? Y'all can't now? Yay! Well, I'm so glad that y'all can hear me now. Shit, that's what's goddamn gonna start. Shoot. Well, good. Well, good. Damn it, I'll start back at the damn top then. What's up, Barbara? Hey, Susie. Hey, Christine. What's up, SD? Hey, Drunky. Hey, Lear. Look, I'm starting right back up at the top. Thank you so much, Susie. Look, I did this once, but I'm going to do it again just because. Drunky said, look, I've been a member for 7 months. Thank you so much, Drunky. She said, but you muted. Unmute yourself. We want to hear what you got to say. SD said, I want to check my status. I've been a member for 6 months. Thank you so much. You say you want to check your stuff. Oh, boy. Thank you guys for your continued support. Hey, Just Shamrock, how are you? Are you getting snow? I don't get snow down here, boo. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know what to do with this. You said it's getting much better. So just a little backstory. Thank you. I was thinking to myself, I thought that because I don't know if y'all I was gonna do so we doing the case prep for Kouri Richins. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, I don't know a lot about the case, but I guess y'all tell me, put one in the chat, what or do y'all know a lot about the case? So I'll put a one in the chat if you know a lot about this case that we're gonna be starting tomorrow. I'm just curious to know who all, and I was like, well, maybe you don't know nothing. They having a dangerous storm out in New Jersey. I just got an alert through my Twitter. Wow. Yeah, so I guess SD, me and you just in the same place. Hey, Cindy, because I knew about Kouri Richins. I know everybody was ready to see the Kouri Richins trial, but I didn't know a lot about what was going on with her until I actually started looking. So I was trying to look, and I was like, okay, well, maybe we'll talk about it. But then I'm like, everybody probably knows something about something with this. And so that's why I had it scheduled, and then I was like, well, everybody probably knows everything. Oh, so are you in New Jersey, Christine? I heard they're having a lot of bad weather. I just got a alert through my phone. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so the case starts tomorrow. Let's see. So I wanted to kind of like prep us and get us, because I don't know a lot about it. And a lot of the stuff that we hear about, that we get to hear, a lot of it's not going to come into the actual case. Like, we're not going to see it in the actual trial. So that was one good thing that we would be able to look at today. It's kind of like more or less preliminary stuff that they took care of that we'll be able to watch and understand before we actually get into the trial. So for those that don't know, let's start off here. Who is Kouri Richins? Like, who is this lady? Who is Sweet Pea talking about? Let me show you guys who I's talking about. I'm gonna pull me down. So this is who we have here. Let me move this out the way because I got our old banner up here from our last thing, so we can all be on the same page, so we don't get confused about some stuff here. So we got Eric, right? This is the husband. And this is Kouri. They were married. And they have 3 kids. Now, for you guys that don't know, Kouri met Eric at a Home Depot, just normal people. He was already a successful businessman at the time that they met. They were married for 9 years, and I guess at some point in time, she must have got tired of him, or he got tired of her, and she decided that, hey, allegedly, let me say allegedly, she decided that she wanted to get rid of him for whatever reason. There is. So, it took them a while for them to arrest her. Eric was pronounced, from my understanding, allegedly, she tried to unalive him back in February, and it was unsuccessful. So then she came back in March and decided to unalive him. And that's when it really happened. Me personally, from the stuff that I have heard, I'm pretty sure y'all all come to the same conclusion. It all seems stupid to me. I mean, any unaliving is stupid, but what makes this even more stupid is that she was not aware that Eric had changed the life insurance policies and all of that stuff over. So whatever she thought she was getting, she was not longer getting. I know. Yeah, I think that he had inklings that she might have been trying to unalive him, but I guess he didn't want to. I guess he didn't want to believe that she was trying to unalive him, but yeah, she tried to put it in his food, from what I heard. So let's see here. Let me share this. Okay, so right here, what we have is the actual indictment. So mind y'all, he passed away in March of 2022. And so on May 8th, 2023, Kouri was arrested by the Summit County Sheriff's Office. This arresting criminal case is as the result of a lengthy investigation. Now, guys, mind y'all, in the meantime of this arrest, before it happened, Kouri was out here, the widow, the wife that nobody could console. She had wrote a grief book. She was on this like press tour for her grief book for little kids. And I don't know if that's what brought her out into the forefront of attention so much. Because other than that, it would have just been because remember, he was supposed to have passed. Well, he was supposed to have passed away from an overdose. So then she goes on this where she was writing a book. And with her writing a book, she went on like a tour, you know, to go on different shows. She was on Good Morning. I think she was on CBS. She was on the local Idaho news. And she was promoting her book that she had for grief counseling for her kids. And in a normal situation, that would have been okay. But what happened was is that she just got to be into doing too much. Yeah, Cindy. Yep. So that's what she was doing. So let's go to our first clip that we have here. And I just really don't even know why she's going to try. I guess, everybody's entitled to a defense, right? It's beyond grimy. So let me get this up for us because I wanted to share this with y'all.
More about what police think may have prompted a woman who wrote a children's book about grieving to have allegedly killed her husband. That led to that grief. This is 33-year-old Kouri Richins sitting down with a local lifestyle show Good Things Utah just last month to promote her book about how she and her children are dealing with the loss of her husband. She billed it as a support book for other families.
So my husband passed away unexpectedly last year. So it's March 4th was a 1-year anniversary for us. And he was 39. It completely took us all by shock. And we have 3 little boys, 10, 9, and 6.
Plot twist.
So mind you, now y'all see the date of this interview. This interview that she's having, this is on April 5th. So this is like a year and a month after her husband has allegedly overdosed or whatever little slick stuff she want to say. So this is at that point in time. Now, keep in mind, I explained to you, like, here, she got arrested on May 8th. So this is just like a month before this is all going down.
Richins arrested a month later on charges that she's the one who killed him. By poison, by the way, with fentanyl laced. A Moscow Mule cocktail. But now new court records reveal Richins and her husband Eric were arguing over a $2 million real estate deal in the months before. Police say Eric was murdered. Kouri Richins, they allege, wanted to purchase this 20,000 square foot, 8-bedroom, 12 bath. What do you do with 12 baths? Unfinished mansion in Heber City, Utah, as part of her real estate and home flipping business. Court documents and Eric's own family say he thought the home was too expensive and wouldn't give her the money. But just a day after Eric's death, Richins closed on the mansion and allegedly hosted a party there to celebrate, which raised some suspicions from law enforcement. Now the Salt Lake City Tribune, citing a probate court petition, reports that Kouri Richins was actually stealing from her husband. He came from a well-known, well-connected family in Utah, as far as back as 3 years into their marriage. Quote, by at least 2016, she was stealing money from him in order to afford to flip houses and address her ongoing financial woes. The petition alleges she began taking money from his bank accounts as well as running up debts on credit cards in his name without his knowledge.
So right there, I mean, it appears that were they Mormon? I don't think so. I haven't heard anything about them being Mormons. I know that is really something in Utah. But this young lady, it appears that she was in a lot of financial debt. And her flipping houses, or call herself flipping houses, whatever she was doing, just had her so backwards that she couldn't get out of this debt. And I don't know why, in regards to this house that she was trying to buy, like there's just no reason for her to be needing this type of house, right? Can we agree upon that? But for some reason, she wanted this house that she does not need, you know, and Eric was like, well, no. And so from my understanding, from everything I read, he was trying to divorce her and get rid of her at some point in time. Yes, they had 3 little boys. Yep. She wrote the grief book allegedly for the little boys. But wait a minute. I am going to show y'all this clip of her sister, but I'll show that in a minute. But let me show y'all this. Okay. Like, who needs 12 bathrooms? Did that guy say 12 bathrooms? I guess she might need 12 bathrooms. Okay, so during the marriage, what they found out, there was a financial strain, which we just heard from the news report in regards to her wanting to purchase houses. She was in a lot of debt, guys. And that, of course, reported had tension in the home. Now, there has been sparks and rumors in regards to her having an affair. Now, how deep this affair was and what this affair was about, if it's true or not, I'm not sure. You probably will hear that there was a lot of media reports in regards to different filings for this case. Like, this case has like been prolonged, time's been set back. It almost reminds you of like Courtney in regards to, like, it's always something. I know one big thing that kept this case set back is that they wanted the case to be moved out of Utah. They did not want out of Summit County. They wanted to have a change of venue, which kept getting denied, and it actually went to the Supreme Court in Utah. So just to give you an idea kind of how this worked, why this took so long, and why we're kind of like here. And this trial is like, this case is like so sensationalized. Like it's like the biggest thing people are talking about and have been talking about in regards to it. So that's so y'all can kind of understand that portion of it. Let me get up the next one that I have for us to watch. So I know that when she was going out for bail, and I'll show y'all what it is. So here we go. I'm gonna show y'all. So the night he died March 2022. She wrote this book a year later. As you can see, she was on Utah, Idaho's, their local news channel promoting her book. They saying that he passed away from fentanyl. She's saying that he was a known drug user, and this is what he, and he OD'd. They found him at the end of his bed. So she was arrested. She was charged with murder. She was arrested in May of 2023. And of course, she is not out on bail. So since 2023, she has not been on bail. So in the midst of all of this stuff, it's been a lot of things where she just did a whole bunch of self-snitching, y'all. She done told on herself in regards to everything. And that's why I cannot understand, why are we here? That's what I can't understand when I'm looking at all of this stuff. So let me do this. So right here, what we're going to go through today is this is like the final motion that just came out the other day in regards to what's coming in and what's coming out. Because like I said, she did a lot of self-snitching. She say it's not a lot of self-snitching, but she did a lot of self-snitching. Beyond writing the book, they have called she has a journal that they found in her cell. And it's this famous letter. Well, I ain't gonna say famous, but you hear a lot of people refer to the walk the dog letter, which we do have a copy of what photos are coming in. I don't know. Was Marilda in the other room? I didn't see her come over here. Was she in the other room? Yeah, she definitely didn't. I just sent her a text message. It may be late over there. I think it's kind of, I think where she at SD with the world clock. You know, SD got the world clock. So y'all know when they do these motions and limines, that's kind of like telling us what's going to be in and what's going to be out. And so this is just so we can have an idea of what's going on. So the first thing that they talk about is the state's motion to determine should the walk the dog letter be omitted. So the state seeks an order determining admissibility of the first 3 pages of a redacted document found in the defendant's jail cell referred to as the walk the dog letter. Now, the defendant opposes the motion, arguing its admissibility of the letter is unfairly prejudicial because it implies that the defendant was attempting to tamper with a witness. What witness they're talking about? They're talking about Kouri's brother. Now, the court finds that the redacted first 3 pages of the letter are relevant under Rule 402 and more probative of a defendant's internal thought processes about the alleged crimes charged in this case. Now, in the letter, the defendant crafts exculpatory narrative about the death of Eric Richins. So all she did was do a whole bunch of self-snitching. Now, I don't know how she got herself tied into where she wanted to decide that she wanted to write this all down, or how she thought she was going to tell somebody how to act or what to say or what to do. It's the weirdest thing ever because, okay, the letter did not get to the individual, of course, because they intercepted it. But for her to think that this was going to work out the way she thought it was going to work out, it's just like it. I don't know how she thought this was going to pan out for her. So the state may fairly argue that the letter is probative of the defendant's consciousness of guilt. However, the court did find that probative value of any implication of argument by the state that by writing the letter, the defendant was preparing to or attempted to or actually tampering with the witness is substantially outweighed by the danger of unfair prejudice. So, and then they cite the code. The letter was found in Kouri's cell. It was not sent to another person because remember they intercepted it. And any implication that the defendant was using the letter for unlawful purposes is unfairly misleading and prejudicial. So the first 3 pages of the walk the dog letter will be omitted in trial as redacted, are admissible subject to the limitations in this ruling and subject to state land proper foundation on trial. Okay, so so the letter coming in. Oh, there she go. Hey, Marilda. Yeah, I said it's probably late her side. So this is what I wanted to. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get it up here so y'all can see it. So we know that the walk the dog letter is coming in, right? The first 3 pages, but it's actually a total of 5 pages. So let's see what they have. I think in this, I put this clip so we can kind of listen, so y'all can listen to what she actually has in this walk the dog letter. And it's like, girl, come on, get your whole life together. What are you thinking? Like, this seems really silly what she's doing. So let me remove this.
Pills from Mexico. She wants to link Eric getting the drugs and pills from Mexico, so we need some kind of connection. Her private investigator is doing some research on the ranch cartel place Eric would stay at. Here's what I'm thinking, but you have to talk to Ronnie. He would probably have to testify to this, but it's super short, not a lot to it. He will need to talk to Sky at the meeting.
So right here, they have somebody reading the walk the dog letter, some parts and portions of it. And what I would like y'all to know is, like, she is writing this and she is sending this to her brother and her mom. Sky, at that point in time, Sky was the attorney. She withdrew and for conflict of interest in the case. So she was like, she don't want to be her attorney. But Sky is her attorney, that when she's mentioning Sky, and what she's basically doing is she's scripting out how witnesses should testify, what they should say in order to incorporate and formulate her story, just so y'all know where we're at. So here we go.
Meeting next week. Upon information and belief, just like they say, a year prior to Eric's death, Ronnie was over watching football one Sunday, and Eric and Ronnie were chatting about Eric's Mexico trips. Eric told Ronnie he gets pain pills and fentanyl from Mexico from the workers on the ranch, but not to tell me, because I would get mad, because I always said he just gets high every night and won't help.
Do y'all see what she's doing? So in this letter that she's writing to her brother and mother, she is basically like incorporating the story. She's putting, okay, so her brother and Eric was talking, and they were talking about his trips to Mexico. He did not want Kouri to know that he was out there buying drugs or rugs during these particular moments in time. And she kind of like getting everybody on the same page. Now, this is the letter that they found in her cell. And guys, the first 3 pages will be introduced to the jury. Like, I don't know how they're going to get past these hurdles now that we know that this evidence is in. Like, you know, it's a difference when you think you can keep this evidence out. But now that we know that this stuff is coming in, I don't know how we are doing this.
Help take care of kids. Ronnie should have texts from Eric talking about getting high as well. Eric told Ronnie he keeps them in an allergy pill bottle in his work truck so I wouldn't find them. Ronnie never told me about the conversation. Eric finally told me and asked if Carmen could get him some. Eric never wanted anyone to know he had an issue, especially get caught. He always wanted Kouri to go down for him. Reword this however he needs to make the...
Like, you telling me this is not coaching anybody when you saying reword this however he needs to make the point. This is what we doing? Hey, Haynes, like, how do you, like, this is you basically telling, like, what? Come on. This is all bad. All bad. I don't even know why we doing this.
Point just to include it all. The connection has to be made with Mexico and the drugs. Ronnie will have the messages to prove Eric confided in him about getting high. He can be short and to the point, but it has to be done. When you talk to Ronnie about this, meet up with him in person. I worry sometimes your house and phone are bugged. Tell him I need him to do this. Bring me home, and then we will get those damn bitches. We're so close to the end. Let's push through. Have the conversation with Ronnie before he meets with Sky. Then tell him to tell Sky at the meeting about the conversation. Hang in there. We're almost there. Love you to the moon.
You know, the problem about this is that, you know, she's a writer. You know, of course, she's an author, right? She may not be a good author or whatever kind of author you want to put her in. But this is what she is, and this is what she does. Like, how do you do this? Like, I mean, she writing it all out. And then when they find it, you want to be looking silly. So I just like, okay, when we talking about going into this trial this week, and I'm like, okay, well, this lady, she sound like she, you know, she like way guilty. I'm like, well, maybe she just wait until the end to see what evidence she can get, you know, because I guess if you can get this taken out of the file or certain stuff could not be proven, then maybe she can get over it, you know, like maybe win and there's some reasonable doubt. But when this type of stuff and evidence is coming into the file, what do you do with that? So I don't know what you do with that. So not only is this walk the dog letter coming in that we just heard about, I mean, just some of the stuff that she just basically did overall was weird. Let me see. So this is the part that so after the walk the dog letter was found, guys, of course she didn't call the brother. And now that the letter is found, this is what she does. This is silly to me.
Take a look, because we have the transcript. And Ronnie says, like, what the heck are they disciplining you for? And Kouri says, and then I'm on 30 days of lockdown, 23 hours a day, no commissary. Ronnie, the brother, for what? Like, they have to give you a reason, Kouri, for the paperwork. That's what they're saying, for my paperwork, that they illegally.
And what she's talking about is the walk the dog letter. Ronnie is her brother. So I guess maybe Ronnie is referred to as the dog. And she's telling her mom how to walk the dog. And Ronnie is the dog analogy, because I'm like, where did she get to walk the dog? And I guess because she got to walk him. So they on the phone after this letter has been found because they had put her on some kind of lockdown or something. So, you know, Kouri like, well, they got me for the paperwork. That's what they're saying, for my paperwork that they illegally found, which I wasn't hiding. She trying to play it off like it was a book. Yes, Sharon Rock. I think because she was referring to her brother as a dog. Maybe. I don't know. Telling her mom to walk the dog, walk him into what he need to say. Tell him how this needs to go.
Legally found, which I wasn't hiding. It's a 65-page novel. They read the whole thing, and on the front of the novel, this is the worst part, on the front of the book, it literally says, these are true events that have happened in my life, but the statements, the events, and the way it all plays out have been falsified for a fiction novel. It's called To Heck and Back. None of this can be used against me. This is only a book. That's why I'm telling you, this is insane. There was never a letter. There was never a letter in the book in an envelope. This was never a letter. Like, what the bleep are you talking about? Ronnie, they're trying to bleep her entire trial to taint the darn jury. Kouri, then her brother. And it's obvious that's what they're doing. Kouri, right. Because Ronnie says, because they're that desperate. It is unbelievable. All right.
So she got everybody convinced even her brother, that they took this letter from her. Like she's saying that the letter said from Haken back and all of this stuff. Well, guys, I mean, I'm pretty sure he knows this by now, but let me see. This is the letter. It says walk the dog. It don't say to Haken back. It doesn't say that. So what are you talking about, young lady? So this part is the redacted part that is coming actually into the trial, guys. So y'all can know what we will be seeing when we actually get into court. So, and basically it just has where it's saying, here is what I am thinking, but you have to talk to Ronnie. So she's writing this to her mom. She's talking about her brother, Ronnie. This is coming in. The jury is going to see this. The judge has decided this is coming. The walk the dog is going to walk right into damn court. It's coming. I don't think all three of them was on the phone at that time, Cindy. It was just her and her brother, from my understanding. So she basically going to walk the dog, and she going to walk this dog right into court. So here we go. So she basically writing this to her mom. She's saying, hey, you know, just what they said, that it's going to be super short. Not that he got a lot he got to do. He just needs to talk to the attorney. And remember, the attorney, she was like, I don't want no parts of this shit. She was done. So the parts about the thing regarding to the scam, that her husband was talking to Ronnie, and they trying to build this narrative in regards to, hey, this like past drug activity that she's saying Eric had. So she trying to bring that, have her brother kind of like testify to it. So she basically, this part about rewording, all this stuff is coming in. So, and it tells them, hey, take vague notes on all of this so you can remember it all before you walk the dog. Like, I guess she called him a dog. I'm just going to say she called her brother a dog. Hey, only, yeah. I'm just going to say she is calling her brother a dog. If we saying, you know. So when we looking at these motions, and I'll go to the next one that we have, they also found a orange notebook. Now, in this orange notebook, guys, the state requests and ordered that the 5 pages found in the orange notebook that was seized by the police on a day that she was arrested are admissible. Now, the notebook contains what appears to be journal entries. So she was keeping a journal, ding dong, that was written by her from March 3rd and March 4th, 2022. And they describe what the defendant and Eric Richins were doing the night he passed away. So self-snitching, like she just snitched all on herself. She told on herself the entire time. Now, the court determines that the statements in the orange notebook, if written by the defendant, which they probably were, are not hearsay, and they are probative of what happened that night to Eric Richins, the date that he died. The statements may be fairly compared to other statements that the defendant has made. So we got this journal that's coming in that's going to detail what happened the night of the 3rd and the 4th. Okay. Now, the state also seeks an order to of a set of notes that were found in the defendant's kitchen cupboard. Like she was keeping goddamn notes everywhere. Like anywhere you can put a note, she was putting a note. So now we got notes in the kitchen cupboard. She writing notes everywhere. She just writing down the whole entire story of everything that's going on. And I do mean everything that's going on. She didn't need nobody to snitch on her because she did it all herself. So the state seeks an order for the set of notes that were found in the defendant's kitchen cupboard on November the 7th, 2024 are admissible. Those notes were found on April 2023 when the house was initially searched by law enforcement. The state argues that the content of the notes supports reasonable inference that the defendant wrote the notes after her interview with the detective to remember the things she told him. So after Eric passed away and the detectives came out there and they wanted to speak to Kouri, Kouri was like, look, I need to write all of this down so I can remember what I told the detective. And when they came and they had a warrant and they came to search the house, you know what they did? They found the notes. Like, she is so wild with this stuff. It is ridiculous. So let y'all listen to this. This is a deal. So I want to show y'all this because the stuff that she did was just weird. And I mean, it just gets real weird. So this is right after he passes away. She meets with the detectives. We later find out once she's arrested and they actually, go through the house. We actually find out that from when she talked to the detectives after Eric first passed away, that she took notes, okay? But then this is her during that period of time. Let me share this with y'all. So she is emailing the investigators. Now, I don't know who does this. This is weird to me. So this is probably what got her on a radar because this was weird. Listen at this.
I thought I would clarify some other items on your list that you spoke to.
Redacted.
About the beginning of
So now she is sending this to the detective. She is emailing Detective Chad, talking about she want to clarify some stuff on the list that he mentioned when he came out there to interview her. Who does this? I guess I do know who does this. Kouri does this. And so as I was going through this case, and I'm like, why are we going to trial? Do anybody know why we going to trial? Like, why is she wasting people's time with this? But let's listen. If this, and y'all let me know, is it just me or is this some weird stuff after your husband passes away? This is something that you do.
On your list that you spoke to.
Redacted.
About the beginning of February last year, my kids had a soccer tournament in Mesquite. The day before we left, February 2nd, 2022, I tested positive for COVID. I have attached the picture of my test from on my counter in the kitchen from when I first found out. Photo 1. I had sent it to my mom and
Redacted.
to let them know because I was just around both of them. Eric was the coach of the soccer team, and I'm the annoying mom on the sideline that never stops yelling. We didn't miss games or tournaments. We're a huge soccer family. When we found out I had COVID, I didn't want to miss the soccer tournament, nor did I want my kids to get sick. So I stayed at Casablanca. I didn't want to risk getting my boys ill during the tournament and then not play well. I brought a box of home tests with me to test every day so I could either join the boys staying at my father-in-law's or at least be with them during the game. Casablanca is about 5 minutes from the soccer field. Actually, there is a picture of the room number I stayed in. I had taken a picture for my mom and Eric. I would take pictures of my test to Eric to say, still positive. You can check Eric's phone for this. I stood on the sidelines wearing a mask and not interacting with anyone. Happy to get other soccer parents to attest to this. Eric had gotten COVID after we got home from Mesquite. You asked?
Redacted.
About any exotic vacations I have taken since Eric's passing. I went on 2 trips last year. One, my kids tried out at soccer camp in SLC to qualify to play in Spain in June, and both my kids made it. So yes, I took them to Spain in October 2022. I have attached their invitation letters. Also, Eric and I went to Mexico every year, sometimes twice. We traveled a lot. We have taken the boys to Mexico a few times. We like to go in January. However, January of 2022, we could not go because Eric had his hunting trip to Mexico trip of 2 weeks planned, and it was too much that month. This is not new for us to go to Mexico or for us to go out of the country or on a vacation with our kids. I took my kids and my mom came with us in August of 2022. As I hope you understand, the months prior to this, since Eric's death, have been hard to deal with. No, I have never been to Key West or the Keys in Florida. However, my nanny went with her family in June 2022, so maybe you have something mixed up. Eric's affair was the same year I moved out. The trust was created as well as him looking into a divorce. I never actually moved out. I moved my clothes out one weekend to make Eric understand I'm not kidding about leaving him if he doesn't end things with
Redacted.
I did this on a Thursday or Friday while he was out of town. I was home Monday. I never stayed another night at that other house. Eric and I figured things out like most couples do.
Redacted.
Was her name. He changed her name in his phone so I wouldn't know about it. And honestly, we worked things out, and after that, I never went through his phone again to see if he changed it back, but you have his phone and can check. Eric and I went to
Redacted.
counseling in Camas, 801.
Redacted.
We only went about 4 times. Maybe it wasn't for us.
Redacted.
And
Redacted.
are the same person, as I'm assuming you know that. Ha ha ha. I'm also assuming
Redacted.
told Woody her husband got a call from him and gave him all this information. LOL. Yet he didn't ever go and talk to detectives. Ironic how these things work. Mental health. Yes, I got postpartum after my second child in 2014. Yes, I took medication for it. No, Eric and I did not have financial problems ever. Yes, Eric made more money than me. Do you make more money than your wives? Have I ever been financially reliant on Eric in the last 5 years? Absolutely not. Eric did not want me working because 1, his first wife cheated on him with a guy at work. 2,
Redacted.
3, Eric wanted us to live in the typical conservative life where the man takes care of his family and the wife is a homemaker. Wife, mom, and that's it. That is not my personality and not the way I was raised. I'm very independent. Even when I stayed home with my kids the first few years, I was in grad school for years because I wanted to be more and do more than be a homemaker. And when I did and started my business, it took some adjusting, but Eric and I were fine with it. We hired my nanny and everything worked out. My nanny,
Redacted.
801,
Redacted.
moved out because she was engaged and she and her fiance were moving in together. That was always supposed to be temporary. She's worked full-time for Eric and I for years prior to his death. If anyone can tell you about our marriage, it's her. She lived with us. Feel free to call her.
Redacted.
Has already submitted her phone records to you to prove that your toll is incorrect.
Redacted.
We'll also be submitting hers over to you guys today or tomorrow. I am working on getting mine. However, Eric's business partner is not being cooperative, but you can call
Redacted.
and ask for them, and he would probably give them to you. 801.
Redacted.
I know what time I went to bed that night. There was no hole in my story. Hopefully by obtaining 4 phone record documentation, you guys can see this too. Happy to clarify or provide anything else you may need. I just want this over. I just want our lives back and move on and grieve and mourn my husband without looking over my shoulder constantly for you guys or the idiotic private investigator or the Richins family. Whatever I can do to help close this out, just ask. I'll give you whatever you want to know. Please check with the lab on those gummies. P.S. Chad, I heard you also know our good friends.
Redacted.
Their son and my son play on the same soccer team. When Eric passed,
Redacted.
took over coaching. You guys should even chat with them if you feel necessary. Kouri Richins.
Thanks for the clarification, Kouri. I don't know that it matters either, but I appreciate the communication. Best, Chad.
So right there, that is like so super weird. Like, who sends that information? Is so much, it's so detailed, it's so what the detective is not asking her for. She's like over providing information. And then secondly, then she's trying to put in this thing in regards to, okay, well, check out the gummies because check that doses on there. She really just talks too damn much. Talks right. I don't want to say writes too much. Talks too much, write too much. She do too much. So what we have here is, let me get it up for y'all. So what we just heard is the email. So number 4, the state seeks an order regarding the admissibility of the 6 highlighted excerpts of a transcript of an interview with the detective, right? And then they also want that email that's going to be coming in too. So there's not for the truth of the statements made by law enforcement. The defendant does not object to the admissibility of the follow-up email. So the follow-up email that we just seen right there, that's coming in. The state did the motion to omit jail calls and text messages. I'm sure it got to be those jail calls that she had with her brother that we just heard a little bit earlier. This is another thing. The state seeks to exclude evidence that the defendant told her father-in-law that Eric assaulted her because it is not relevant. So she was trying to say that she wanted to put in evidence that she told. They don't want to allow her to bring in any evidence, and this is Kouri, any evidence that she gave something that alleging that Eric assaulted her. And I think that's what they were doing with regards to the DV person. The state wants to exclude that she can bring anything, and this is for the defense. They don't want the defense like tainting, because Eric is not here to defend himself, right? So her trying to allege that he hit her through some back doorway, or also try to bring in back door that that the victim abused Ruggs in high school. Like, I don't know what that has to do with anything. So this part right here is going to be real important because the state seeks to exclude evidence that Eric Richins used illicit drugs or abused prescription drugs in high school. The state argues that this evidence, this is not relevant because it happened 2 decades before his death, and it is unfairly prejudicial because it paints him as a druggie. And that's what she wants him to be painted, as a druggie that overdosed on fentanyl. When the occurrence happened decades before his death, improper character. So it's improper character evidence. The parties disagreed on a specific substance of the evidence and whether there is non-hearsay avenue for this admission. Now, the court defers to a ruling in the state's motion until after the parties have had an opportunity to voir dire witness Kouri Wright. So they're going to talk to Kouri Wright. So they don't know if it's going to be in or not out. It just depends on what Kouri Wright says, or provide other evidence outside the presence of the jury. Now, this has to happen outside the presence of the jury to determine whether or not is non-hearsay and if it can be admitted in any type of way. Now, they're saying this is really, really, really important, guys, because if this comes out the wrong way, it can possibly lead to a mistrial. So both parties are really strongly cautioned against referring to this evidence during opening statements. So they better not say this during opening statements tomorrow, either one of them. So the defendant wants to exclude her book that she wrote in regards to her grief. You know, the book, They'll Fly Away Together, or, you know, she's so, ugh. This how messed up she is. Wait a minute. Let me get the book thing up there. So literally, y'all, this is the book. This is like the cover of the book. It's not the exact one, but the book cover is like got a little boy on there. It's called Are You With Me? Of course, it's not on Amazon anymore for you to buy. And then she literally had Eric like up here in the corner with angel wings and a halo and stuff. Like, she is creepy as hell. Like, who does that? They wanted to, she had went on KU TV, and she spoke about her book. And the state does intend to put a picture of the cover of the book, and they do want to show a screenshot of her doing the interview. So they want to bring that information in. Let me see what the judge said. Okay, so the defense didn't want her to bring that in. The defense wanted them to, if they were going to show the interview, the state just wanted to show a clip of the interview, just so y'all aware, like a screenshot saying, hey, she did this interview. She was promoting her book. This was a year after her husband had passed away. And the defense was like, well, if you're going to show that one portion, if you're going to show the clip of, the interview, we want you to put the entire interview in. But the judge denied them actually getting the entire interview in. So they won't get the entire interview in. Okay. So it also has defendant's motion to exclude. So she wanted to exclude the 2020 recording of a partial conversation between the defendant and Eric. So I don't know why Eric recorded a conversation, but he must have felt something in his bones because he recorded a conversation in 2020. Eric recorded a conversation he had with the defendant that indicates that he did not know that the defendant took out a HELOC loan on his home. So she was taking out loans and everything on his house. And in his recording, he's saying that he didn't know. Maybe he was going to use it for bank information. Maybe he was going to use it for fraud information when they wanted him to pay back or wanted to let the bank know that he didn't authorize this and that she did this without his consent. So he had recorded this conversation. In addition to the recording, it includes statements from the defendant denying she was having an affair. So the partial recording has minimal probative value. It shows distrust in the marriage and the defendant's efforts to secure a source of credit. So it also shows that Kouri was really in a bad financial position. And I guess from these upside down houses, like she was doing the most out here, because even from my understanding, like she took $45,000 from one of her BFF. I don't know how she calls her BFF. That's a hard BFF to have in your life, but her BFF gave her $45,000 for her to get for a home, and they heard her BFF and her family moves in the home, and I don't know what Kouri did with the money, but she didn't do what she was supposed to do, and the house ended up being foreclosed. So I don't know what she was doing. I don't know what she was doing with the money. So this one they got to win because it looks like it says for these reasons the defendant's motion is granted. So that won't come in because it's different portions of the recording that are inaudible and may lead the jury to inaccurately speculate about what was said. And there is a danger that some of the statements from both the defendant and from Eric could be taken out of context. So that part the defense did win. So that is not coming in. Now, they still are trying to get in. They still came back and the defense was like, well, okay, we got the recording in regards to this HELOC loan and this loan that she had on her house, but we don't want any of that information in regards to her taking out a loan without his knowledge coming in. So the defendant moved to exclude the evidence that she even took out a HELOC. So before it was going to be in regards to the recording regarding the HELOC. Now she got that granted because of the inaudible and misleading the jury possibly. But now they like, we don't want the jury to know anything about this HELOC. So the defendant moves to exclude evidence that she took a HELOC on Eric's home in 2018. Now, this happened in 2018, because Eric already knew about the HELOC loan before his death. So the defendant argues that the evidence is irrelevant and is prejudicial up under the 401 and 403. Now, this evidence that the defendant obtained a HELOC with a credit limit of $250,000 on Eric's home is relevant to the defendant's financial circumstances leading up to Eric's death. Evidence that she withdrew $264,000 on a HELOC is relevant, guys, to whether she had exhausted sources of credit available to her prior to his death. The evidence is probative of the defendant's financial condition at the time that Eric passed away. So, which is relevant to the defendant's potential motive to unalive her husband for financial gain. Now, so this was denied. So what it means is that this information in regards to her taking this loan out or HELOC is going to be in there. So that is going to be there. You know what, Cindy? I see your question. Hey, Jason, I see your question in there. What I would like to say in regards to the insurance, we'll get to that, but what happened was, what she did was all stupid. It sounded like it was just all, I don't want to say, it was stupid, right? Unbeknownst to our girl, Kouri, our guy, Eric, must have thought that she was doing something, or he wanted to get a divorce, or he wanted to kind of separate things from her, because what he did is he took her off the trust. So everything didn't go to her. I think only maybe certain things went to her. And yeah, she didn't notice before she allegedly unalived him. So everything went into a trust that, guess what, his sister controlled. So she kind of like basically did all of this for nothing because she didn't know that he did this. So that's going to be very important. And I know they're going to talk about doing that. So now, okay, so we got that coming in. So we know that they're going to find out about this HELOC loan that she took out for $250,000. Now, the defense also put a motion to exclude any video or photos of Eric's body. The defense wanted to exclude a video that depicts, among other things, of the defendant while EMTs perform life-saving measures on Eric the night of his death. A picture showing lividity of Eric's body when he was found. We know these photos got to come in, right? As long as they're not bloody and graphic, they're coming in for the jury to see. So regarding any color photographs of Eric's body, the court finds that this is more probative of Eric Richins' time of death. So the jury may use the photographs to determine the veracity of the medical examiner's opinion regarding the time frame of when Eric passed away. So that's coming in. I don't even know why they asked for that. So then the defense, they asked for a motion to exclude the Sedona Mago life story. So I guess the defendant, she was in some she write too much, she talk too much, she do too much. So I guess she was in some dang on retreat in Sedona, Arizona, you know, relaxing. I don't know what she was thinking, but she decided that she wanted to write a life story, and they got a hold of the paperwork and they about to use it against her. The content of the life story is probative to the defense feelings about her marriage to Eric. So she was at some retreat. So the defense wanted to keep this out. The defense motion was respectfully denied and subjected, long as the state can lay the foundation that the document is authentic and it was authored by the defendant, is coming in. So the defense also wanted to exclude substance use. So the defense wanted to exclude evidence that Eric ate THC gummies together. Oh, so what they wanted to do, they wanted to exclude that our girl Kouri, that she ate gummies. Don't nobody care about her eating no damn gummies. I guess she wanted to make it like she was innocent and like she don't do shit. Like, I don't know what that was about. That seems stupid. But anyways, it was denied. They like, they not about to be playing these games. Like, I mean, we in Utah, like, don't nobody care about you eating no gummies. So, motion to exclude evidence that the defendant assaulted Amy Richins. So, let me show y'all this in regards to this. Hey, Donna. Let me put this on here because she can tell y'all better than I can ever tell y'all. So let me just put it up here so y'all can see it. I thought this was a very, wait a minute. I thought this was a very interesting news feed, and that's why I'm gonna share it with y'all, because certain parts of this is gonna come into court and certain parts is not. So that's why I'm gonna show it to you. And the real strange part about it is that I know Donna, she was doing the most. Like, she was out here doing way more than she ever had to do. She did this whole for herself. She should have sat back, shut up, and didn't do anything. But listen at this. This was so heartbreaking. But this is at the bail hearing when Kouri was trying to get out of jail. Just so y'all aware for context. And then I'll explain to you, because the defense wanted to exclude some of this evidence that she's going to speak about in this, okay? So that's why I tried to pull up the clip so y'all can kind of see and pull up the documents so y'all can kind of see what they're trying to exclude physically versus to just hearing me say it. So here we go.
Go ahead.
Dear Judge Mrazek, I'm here today to represent my brother, Eric Eugene Richins. His life was taken in a senseless act of poisoning on March 3rd, 2022. His wife, the defendant, has been accused of committing this crime. If she is found guilty.
Okay, guys, as we watching this, I want y'all to watch her reaction, her face, and I want y'all to tell me at different points. Put a 1 in the chat when you see her facial expressions, if it looked like she just want to bust out laughing. Because it was different points in times when I was looking at this. I said, oh my gosh, I think she about to bust out and start laughing. I think this is all a joke to her. I think that she's taking these people through the ringer. I really think that like, this beyond, like, this seemed like mental. Like, I thought she was going to laugh. So y'all put some 1s in the chat if y'all see a facial expression that looks like she's about to laugh. Because I was like, well, maybe it's just me. Because sometimes I overthink things. But I'm like, no, she looks like she about to bust out laughing. Let's see. I want y'all to tell me. Y'all put some words in the chat with her facial expressions. Like when her sister-in-law or ex-sister-in-law is talking, it's like Kouri wanted to bust out and laugh.
She has committed the ultimate act of betrayal. Eric is gone, and I am brokenhearted. He was my best friend and protector. The feeling of loss is so great it is visceral. And with the sorrow comes a wave of panic at not being able to see him again. I can never talk to him, never hug him again, and never more be a part of his life. Eric's world revolved around his family, his love for hunting, the family cattle ranch, and his intense drive as a successful entrepreneur. Being born into the Richins legacy shaped Eric's formative years and resulted in a lifetime of hard work, dedication, and fierce loyalty. At an early age, Eric learned the joys of keeping horses and cows around. He spent countless hours helping our dad work the ranch, hauling hay, feeding the animals, and mending fences. He loved our family unconditionally and was a devoted son, brother, uncle, and father. Eric was a family man who always strove to be the absolute best father and husband. He was an attentive and loving father to his 3 sons and a devoted husband to his wife of almost 9 years, Kouri, the defendant. Eric did absolutely everything in his power to provide his family and his 3 sons with every possible opportunity to learn, grow, and have fun. He was the coach or assistant coach on all his boys' teams, which included soccer, basketball, and baseball. He spent countless hours coaching and teaching the boys to play aggressive and give it their all. Eric truly cared about every single child he coached and wanted the absolute best for all of them. There was never a dull moment when you were around Eric, whether it was him showing up to a family dinner with no socks or the sleeves torn off of his shirt because he had to make an emergency bathroom stop along the way, or his calling to tell you he rolled the four-wheeler for the upteenth time is stuck and he needs you to come get him. It was never boring. Eric loved to have fun and always wanted to make sure everyone else did as well. He owned almost every motorized toy possible, from four-wheelers and side-by-sides to trucks and snowmobiles, and was so excited to share those with his sons. He had the perfect combination of business sense and foresight. He built a very successful masonry business from the ground up and helped many friends do the same. He had a special ability to build close relationships with everyone he worked with, which really allowed his business to thrive. Eric loved every aspect of his job, but most of all, he loved the people he worked for and those he worked with. Eric faithfully supported organizations that he truly believed in. He never was one that wanted recognition or accolades. He did most things anonymously and without recognition. Eric was a true champion of all people. It did not matter if you were an employee, friend, family, or the next random person walking down the street. If you needed anything, you could count on him. He truly cared about each person he met. Eric loved fully, laughed loudly, and lived life with reckless abandon. He enjoyed great adventures to far-off places, but also cherished the small and finer things in life. No obstacle was too great for Eric. He simply viewed each one as a challenge. No peak was too high, and the next adventure was always just around the next bend. Words cannot describe the loneliness and loss that is felt in every heart that was lucky enough to know him. Eric was such an inspiration and role model for us all. His loss has created a Grand Canyon-sized hole in this community. Except instead of taking millions of years to slowly form, our worlds change overnight. His three boys' entire worlds and their perspectives on life changed. None of our lives will ever be the same. Eric died under horrendous circumstances. I am tormented at the thought of what he endured. I play it out in my mind. I go through the terrible sequence of events. I wonder when he realized he was in mortal danger. I wonder what Kouri may have said to him in his last moments. How long was he conscious, knowing he would die? Where were Eric's boys when all of this happened? Did they hear Eric's body fall to the ground? Did they catch a glimpse of their father taking his last breath? It's torture to think of. Why did Eric lose his life? Why did the boys lose their father? Was it because of Kouri's greed and desire to get life insurance and other assets? If so, that is abhorrent. How could anyone value?
Did y'all see like the lawyer has to, when I'm like, okay, so the lawyer must be trying to tell her, look, it's time to cry, girl, get your face together. She doing all this smirking like the lawyer like, here, take some tissue and act like you gonna cry. That girl ain't crying, ain't a damn tear coming down her face. What is she doing? Like, if she gonna act like this when we going through this trial tomorrow, y'all, I'm not gonna be able to do this with her. I told y'all after our last trial with Mr. Foss that I was taking out all my anger on Kouri Richins. I was taking all my anger on her. So y'all, y'all gonna have to bear with me. So she ain't got nothing coming from me. You know, she almost remind me of like Brian Walsh, like, I can't do you. I can't do you. This is just too much. And it's not because of anybody else. It's not because the state didn't prove their case. It's because she self-snitched on herself. If she would have just shut up, like, who emailing the detective talk about, let me clarify some stuff. I didn't have any holes in my story. Let me write this all out for you. Who does that? I ain't doing that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not normal. But look at this is fake stuff. This ain't gonna last long, I don't think.
Value human life so cheaply. I cannot comprehend it. I'm overflowing with grief and pain at the thought that Eric meant so little to her. If Eric had died because of an illness, he would have been cared for. He could have looked after him and been with him. If he had died because of an accident, people would have tried to help. There would have been kindness. But there's no comfort to be had here. There's no consoling thought in the way Eric died. In his last moments, after being intentionally poisoned, he was faced with betrayal and terror. The thought of it is unbearable. I am haunted by the horror of it. This last year has been a living hell for our family. We have watched as Kouri has paraded around portraying herself as a living widow and victim while trying to profit from the death of my brother. Both by trying to profit from a book about his death and trying to get life insurance and assets that should go exactly where Eric wanted them to his boys. Immediately after Eric was killed, Kouri told us she could not help us get anything ready for the funeral as she was too distraught with grief. We shortly found out that was not true at all. In fact, she pulled herself together enough to go close on the purchase of a $2 million home, hire a real estate agent, hire an architect to create CAD drawings of the home, hire a lawyer in order to file a lawsuit on Eric's trust, hire a locksmith to come break into and clean out my brother's safe, and attempt to have Eric cremated. She mustered up the strength and resolve to do most of this within 48 hours of his death. Kouri assaulted me. I will never forget the look in her eyes when she attacked me that Sunday morning. It was early and had been snowing most of the night. I was just getting ready to leave and heading out to the car when I saw a locksmith in Eric's detached garage starting to drill out his gun safe. I asked Kouri multiple times why we could not just call my dad for the code. I could not understand why she was breaking into and ruining Eric's safe. To this, she screamed at me at the top of her lungs, called me some inappropriate things I cannot share with you here, and then told me to get out of her house. It was then that I told her that she could not kick me out of my brother's house. My sister Katie was now the executor of Eric's trust and estate, and just like Eric, she would not want the defendant breaking into his gun safe. Kouri looked at me with pure hatred and rage. I was messing up her plan. I was getting in her way, and because of that, she attacked me. She punched me in the face and neck multiple times. It took 4 people to pull her off me that day. Before the funeral,
she was trying to beat the damn brakes off the sister. She was so mad that she didn't have control of this money. She didn't know, y'all. She didn't know that Eric had took her off of everything. She thought she was about to be running the money. And she got to the house and she up here trying to drill in his safe and do whatever she wanted to do. And found out at that point in time, like, you are no control over here, boo. My sister Katie got, she got it all. Oh, she was like, boo-boo. You gotta be like, she was livid. She said it took 4 people to get her off of her. What? I couldn't believe this. I said, oh yeah, I guess that, I'm telling you, like, if she would have knew that she didn't control none of his money if he passed away, then maybe she wouldn't have went to the degrees to get rid of this man, because like, boo, you ain't getting nothing. Like, he wasn't giving you nothing. Oh my gosh. Like, so she did all this shit for nothing. Really nothing. And that's how this shit is gonna be, for nothing, because you ain't gonna get away with it. Oh my goodness. I can't remember what else the sister said. Let me see, because I don't know if I watched it all. I probably was watching this so I can see Kouri's face.
Kouri opened a bank account and asked everyone that was grieving to send her money instead of sending the family cards and flowers. It was not even 2 weeks after Eric's passing that we were told she had taken down all but one photo of my brother and removed all his clothing from the house. Kouri put together a golf tournament in Eric's name 2 months after his death on what would have been his 40th birthday and told his family, all of us, that we were not allowed to attend. Since Eric's death, it has come to our attention that Kouri took out multiple life insurance policies on Eric without his knowledge. It appears that she forged his signature on various documents, assigned herself as Eric's durable power of attorney, inappropriately diverted money from his business to herself, and assigned herself as beneficiary of Eric's portion of our mother's retirement account. I should also not forget to mention the multiple life insurances she has taken out on the boys. Her most recent business venture was authoring a children's book about how to help grieving children cope with the loss of the death of a parent. In this book, she had the audacity to use the boys' real names and even use their last family portrait. Her behavior gives me great concern, as she has exploited the boys for money and will likely do so again. In addition, Kouri has weaponized Eric's children, manipulating my dad to do or not do things by threatening to cut him out of their lives if he did not capitulate to her demands. She similarly deprived the boys of contact with myself, my sister, and her daughters, unless we agreed to give her the money in Eric's trust. Money that Eric wanted to go to his 3 children. As if that were not enough, I have been told that Kouri started telling their 3 little boys that none of Eric's family or friends loved them. She apparently told them none of us cared for them or wanted to be around them, even though that is the exact opposite of what was happening. We all want nothing more than to be there for those 3 little boys, my nephews, yet Kouri has made sure to cut us out of every aspect of their lives. This is all just a brief summary and the start of what our family has been through over the last year. We have scarcely gone a day without finding out some new allegations or evidence regarding something Kouri appears to have maliciously done to attack and undermine my brother, his 3 little boys, and our family. We have all been there since the beginning of Kouri's and Eric's relationship. I was there on one of their first dates. We were there at the wedding. We were there when each of the boys were born. We have been there for every birthday party, school graduation, and rodeo. We welcomed her into our family and treated her as one of us. Not only did she betray our brother, it feels as though she has murdered and taken away a part of our souls as well. Because of her actions, there has not been a day that has gone by we have not lived with paralyzing anxiety and fear, worrying for the boys' lives as well as our own. I may be naive, but I never knew evil like this existed. If Kouri was in fact willing to kill Eric for money, who's to say that what she will not do? Who would be next? Kouri was in a desperate financial situation when Eric was killed, and that situation seems even worse now.
Yeah.
We understand that she has defaulted on loans and is already a defendant in other lawsuits based on her financial misdeeds. I am truly concerned that she will stop at nothing to dig her way out of the problems, including murder. She seems devoid of moral sensibility, and there is no telling what she will do if she is released. Judge Mrazek, her fate lies in your hands. Please do not allow Kouri to use the fraudulent life insurance proceeds to get out on bail. That would be morally reprehensible. Please do not allow Kouri to take advantage and make a mockery of our justice and legal system anymore. She has done enough. Please do not allow Kouri to hurt Eric's memory, our family, friends, and community anymore. We have been through enough. Please do not give Kouri the opportunity to hurt Eric's 3 boys anymore. They have lost enough and have been through enough. Since Eric's death, we have learned and unfortunately are continually reminded that Kouri is desperate, greedy, and extremely manipulative. If she gets out on bail, I will be afraid not only for my own life and those of all of my family, but most importantly for the lives of Eric's 3 sons. Our family has already suffered enough. Please do not let Kouri out on bail where she will be a risk to do further harm. Please protect what Eric put.
So I showed y'all that because you know, she had life insurance policies out on this man that he didn't know about. But from what I can understand is that she didn't get any of this money because these were life insurance policies that she took out on behind his back. They were fraudulent, right? So this is what the sister is speaking to. So when I'm talking the reason why I showed you this part is because the defendant, Kouri, she wants to exclude evidence that 2 days after Eric's death, because this happened 2 days after his death, this incident that she's speaking about, she assaulted Amy, which is Amy, the one we just heard from. Upon discovering that Eric had put the family home in a trust that Kouri didn't control. So the defendant was charged with assault, and she wrote a letter to the Summit County attorney, and the defendant moves to have this excluded as evidence, right? But the state has offered a non-character purpose for admission of the assault to show the degree that Kouri would go to in her reaction to allegedly first learning that for the first time that a good portion of what Eric owned and what he had was not going to her, and her reaction. So what they did is the judge ruled that the state can say about a disagreement or something that happened 2 days later, as far as maybe an argument, but they cannot bring in anything about her assaulting her. So that won't come in as far as like the actual assault, but they are going to be able to get into how she first found out that she don't control shit. Like, you don't control nothing, boo. So, okay. Now, the next motion that they had was a motion to exclude a business deal, the Barney House. Yeah, Barney House. So the defendant moves to exclude evidence that shortly before Eric Richins passed away, the defendant agreed to a seller finance the Barney House. This is her friend. This is her BFF house. Her best friend in exchange for $45,000 for a $45,000 down payment. And the defendant used the $45,000 to cover, she used the $45,000 that her friend gave her to cover unrelated debts and was unable to secure a 30-year loan as promised to her friend. So eventually the house fell into foreclosure, and her friend and her friend's family, you know, her kids and stuff, the house, and I'm pretty sure $45,000 ain't like money to somebody unless you rich. So I'm assuming that it's probably her friend's savings. They was trying to save for a house. They thinking, yeah, this is my best friend. She got me. She gonna get this 30-year mortgage. And Kouri spent that on her bill. So basically said, fuck you and your family. like, peace. Like, basically is what she did. So the state may present evidence that the defendant did agree to seller finance the Barney home in exchange for $45,000, and that she used $45,000 to pay off the debts. The argument that the state makes is an inference that the state may ask a jury to make based on the evidence, are limited as described in Section 8. So she will be able to do that portion. So they're going to get that part in there in regards to that. So, because they don't want to turn this into like a financial trial, you know, kind of like with the Murdoch. Like, that was more, we spent 8 days worth on who he stole money from, why he stole money, where the money came from, and all of that. I think that with Kouri's trial, I think the judge is really, really trying to make it where it's not a financial trial, because she's going to be charged. She's going to have to see the judge one day in regards to those things. So that can be at a different point in time that's going to happen. But I don't think he wants to intertwine both of them. So the defendant did move to to get evidence out in regards to any financial dealings that she asserts are being offered as evidence of other financial bad acts. So, and the state, of course, they're arguing that fact, the compounding of frauds, because they're trying to say why she had to unalive Eric, for the financial reason. So that is there. So with limitations and guidance, the defendant's motion in regards to her prior bad financial acts is in part granted. So some parts of it are going to come in. And then if the council need further guidance, on parameters or rulings, they will do that once they get there, once they start that. And they'll do that outside the jury. That's the plan for that. Wait a minute. So that's the plan in regards to that. Let's see here. Okay, so they also filed a motion, the defendant filed a motion to exclude a conversation that was recorded between Eric's friend BK. So he has a friend BK. I'm not sure. I guess it's his initials. I don't know who BK is, but Kouri wanted to exclude a conversation that she recorded with his best friend approximately 2 weeks after Eric's death. I'm not sure what she talked to him about, but it says the defense says that is irrelevant under rules 401 and 402. Defendant argues that the call depicts her as rambling and intoxicated, and I guess she must have been saying some stuff on there she ain't had no business saying. And I'm assuming, why would she record that? That seems stupid. I don't know why she recording this stuff. The content of the call is more probative of the defendant's thoughts about Eric's death, her finances, and the state of the marriage before Eric Richins died. Her statements to BK can be fairly compared to other statements that she made about these topics. Now, why she recorded her talking to BK, his best friend, and talking about their marriage and how much she didn't like him and how he was the scum of the earth and blah, 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 I have no clue. But now that she can record it, now she don't want nobody to know about it. So the defendant's motion is respectfully denied. So it sounds like that's coming in because her motion to keep it out is denied. Motion to exclude child from wedding photo based on a stipulation from the state. The defendant's motion is mute. So you ain't got to worry about that. Motion to exclude defendant's medical records. Defendant seeks to exclude a document-sized warrant of the defendant's home and indicates defendant consulted with a doctor in Mexico in April of 2022 about having bariatric surgery. Like, she don't look like she need no damn bariatric surgery. Bariatric surgery on what? Her brain? Her mouth? Shrink that down maybe a little bit? Like, what surgery was she about to get? She couldn't have been getting a mommy makeover. I don't know what that's about. But she don't want the jury to know that she was going to get bariatric surgery. Like, she don't even look like she qualified. The state argues that the medical documents may become relevant in a rebuttal if the defendant presents evidence or argument that the defendant was grieving and focused on her children in the aftermath of her husband. So what they trying to say is the state said, well, we only really want to bring it in is if your girl get up here or she want to act like she was this grieving widow afterwards, but she wasn't really grieving. She was trying to get bariatric surgery. But I don't, maybe it wasn't bariatric. Maybe it was a mommy and maybe a mommy surgery to kind of like rebuild her body or something. Bariatric, I don't know, because that's like, yeah. Because she don't look like she qualifies for bariatric to me. But, who am I? I don't know. I ain't nobody. I don't know about nothing. So, those are, so you say, well, okay, we done went through all of that. You done told us all of that. Who won what? So, the prosecution, they win the journal and the letters. They are partially allowed. The core toxicology evidence is going to be coming in. The financial evidence is relevant, right? Profiling testimony is going to be limited. Certain journal points, that's where the defense kind of win, are going to be restricted. And y'all seen that the expert scope is going to be narrowed, and that was in regards to the defense attorney. So the alternate suspect theory is going to be restricted. So I don't think she's going to be able to, play that little game like some of them like to play. And the reason why the police focused on her to begin with is the phone data, really this financial motive, and then her journal entries, because she talked too much. She just talked too much. So when we going into this, I wanted to see what hurdles that the state would have to, what hurdles, because I'm like, why are we even going to trial? So the state, they still got to prove her intent. They got to link this fentanyl source, because y'all remember there was a point in time where they thought this case was going to sink because the guy, so apparently she gave her nanny $900 on 2 different occasions to get this fentanyl for her in order for her to use it to unalive her husband. But then when they talked to the nanny said that the person that she got the rugs from was this guy over here, and he was so out of it and on cloud 9 that when they went to go interview him about the drugs, he was like, well, I didn't give her fentanyl, I gave her oxycodone. So the defense jumped on that because they like, well, if he got fentanyl in his system and the drug dealer saying that he gave the nanny oxycodone, then something ain't matching. Something, okay, 2 things can't be 2. So they was like, if they can't put where she actually got the fentanyl, because if they trying to say that if the drug dealer saying that he gave her oxycodone, then that's not fentanyl. So that's 2 different drugs. So it's interesting to see what he comes in and say, and they kind of saying like, I guess he kind of recanted his story because he said he didn't know what he had gave the nanny on those different occasions. So you say bag surgery, I can't do. So I guess we'll see how that comes in. So that's going to be one thing that the state does have to overcome, because they got to link this fentanyl source to her. They got to overcome the lack of witnesses, because of course it was just her and him in the house when it happened. The journal to prove motive without, so when they're using the journal entries, they got to be very careful on how they bring that in order to not prejudice the jury. So the defense, of course, they're going to have to explain this toxicology report. This journal, I don't know how they get over this journal. I don't know how they get, and then they found letters, and then they got calls, and then they got interviews, and they got all of this stuff. They got emails to the detectives. Like, she self-snitched so much on herself. Nobody else is burying Kouri but Kouri in this case. So even if she didn't do it, she did everything that a person that would have did it would do. Yeah, you say he can't vouch for it. Well, apparently he tried to. So I guess they got to create, and they also have to try to create some type of reasonable doubt without an alternative suspect. So either they have to go with the whole thing that he overdosed, right? Because that's the thing that they're trying to say. Yeah, and just in that walk the dog letter alone that we did, it's like it was her whole jailhouse game plan exposed. She told her, because this letter was going to her mom. She was talking about her brother. And I think this is really the jury, this is going to be hard for them to get past. She letting whoever she know, and when she writing this letter, although the letter did not get to the person because it was intercepted, she was trying to get it to somebody. She let them know the phones may be bugged. She's coaching this witness, which is Ronnie, her brother, Rami, or whatever his name is. She's trying to shape this drug use narrative, right? She's trying to say, hey, Ronnie, you're going to have to say that, you know, one time Eric came back from Mexico and y'all was chopping it up. He didn't really want me to know that he was purchasing rugs out of the country. And so that's why you didn't tell me. But this is what he was doing all along. You know, she's telling people what to say. She's basically pushing this storyline on people. And, you know, the prosecution team got the first 3 pages in there. Y'all heard with the first 3 pages. I don't know how you get past that. And was found in her cell, so you can authenticate it. So it's not like it's hearsay. It's directly from her. It's not like anything else, like the journal. Like the journal, the state has to show that it is hers and how, and you know, they got to lay the foundation for certain things like that. But for this, like, it was found in her cell. So I say with the walk the dog letter, I know she was like, conflict of interest. She in here writing these stupid stories and put my name in there, talk about have a conversation with Sky. Sky said she don't want no parts of that. I want to be off this case, conflict of interest. Like, she too stupid for stupid. So I definitely think that that's going to be a big hurdle in this case regarding this. When we get into court. And, you know, as I was gathering the data, I was like, I can't believe that she's doing all of this. Like, she's sinking herself. And I was like, okay, I know we watching this, right? We watching the trial, and it's something that we gonna do together. But I'm like, really? Like, some trials, you know, I'm like, okay, if they, you know, I'm really a person that I love some reasonable doubt. I love it to be some reasonable doubt. We can possibly get over some things and make situations better. But this is like, I don't see how they're going to do it. And maybe we'll find out in opening statements tomorrow. Well, we will find out what the defense is going to do. So I will be sending out a notification. We will go live at the time that everything starts tomorrow. There will not be a late start for that one. I do know we do still have our other 2 trials that we are doing, and we will we'll definitely do those tomorrow too. So we'll have a long day tomorrow. I don't know when the other 2 trials, I got to figure out like when they kind of like ending or what they're doing, but it was just good to kind of like see what this case was about, because I kept hearing all this Kouri, and I'm like, well, I really don't know much about Kouri, but I would like to know, you know, about Kouri before we go in here. So let's kind of find out what Kouri's about. And that's what I found out. And I'm like, okay, why are we going to trial? Like, and we going to trial because of what, huh? Who, what, when, where, why? I don't know. I don't understand that. But needless to say, we are going to trial. We start trial tomorrow. I believe it's at you say you got the dishes done, your laundry, bro. Okay. Well, good. I'm glad I was able to talk you through that. That's what my job is for. Yeah. So other than that, that's about all that I had that I can talk about in regards to Kouri Richins. And we will be in the courtroom tomorrow live to see exactly how this case plays out. We know what's coming in, what's not coming in, what they better stay away from so we don't have a mistrial. And yeah, that's about it. I want to thank the chat. I want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out. And I will see you guys in the morning. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. I didn't even take up that much time. I'm so proud of myself. I went through that like a boss this time. Because, you know, sometimes I get on here and we be on here all day trying to do a case prep. I was like, let me try to narrow this down just so we can get the basic facts of where we at, because this case is messy. All right, guys.
When Sweet Pea taps in, you know the courtroom lights go bright. Trials running long, but the family's here every night. Mars on patrol, chat is showing out. This little YouTube corner's what community's about. Therapist, you know, steady holding down the floor. Behind the scenes magician, keeping peace like never before. A banner king, a rule keeper too. Every channel dreams of a mind like you. Jason walks in. it's true. Sharp as a gavel, funniest in the room. Dr. Rachel pops in while she's busy running lines. Speaks her mind every time, cuts through like a knife. And Paula brings the energy, jokes flying fast. Helping Sweet Pea backstage, making every stream last. And Zach strolls and causing chaos just for fun. The resident cheater, but we love him, everyone. Here comes Maddie, handsome, quick with the line. A comedy sniper with the perfect timing. And Lynn with the updates, always loyal, always tuned. If true crime news drops, he brings it to the room. We're a family in the chat, side by side through every trial. Sweet Pea leads the way with that fire and that smile. We debate, we laugh, we lift each other higher. This courtroom crew is everything we admire. Yeah, no matter what the case or file, we're forever taken to trial. Take it to trial. Shamrock keeps us trending, replay queen, holding down the algorithm like a machine. Estes razor sharp, loyal through and through. And yeah, she adores chasing nothing new. Drunky the bear with the white claws, way managing volunteers like she runs the whole land. Cynthia brings inside, would take sharp and steady. Donna keeps it real, 911 and always ready. Tilly Bird's the fat queen, receipts on tap. Easy's new, but she blends right into the pack. Tennessee, hard-lived, try support her with pride. Melly shows up a family for cooking for his dog. A steady carrying presence through the courtroom fog. And Brooklyn in the house, always bringing that spark. Lighting up the chat like a shout in the dark. Baca loves her gram, speaks truth when it's time. Micrograms with metaphors, straight up sublime. Barbara, biggest supporter, heart kind and vast. Looking for missing kids, hope to truly last. Only fan from Singapore, flag name but sweet. Still shows up with love every time he takes a seat. And even the part-timers keep this place alive. Curvio, Irish Amy, Capri Law, Hellcat, our tribe. Hearts wide open, stories shared, holding space because we care. From every corner of the world we climb to spend these nights together, one trial at a time. We're a family in the chat, side by side through every trial. Sweet Pea leads the way with that fire and that smile. Mods and chatters, yeah, this love is something rare. A courtroom crew with hearts beyond compare. No matter what the case or file, we're forever taken to trial. To Sweet Pea and the mods in the chat we adore. This isn't just a channel, it's a family. And we couldn't ask for more.